You know what nerds like? D&D. You know what else nerds like? Video games. You know what else nerds like? List videos on the internet. D&D is what we're all about here, and it's great on its own, but it's better with add-ons. Snacks are fantastic, a comfortable space to play is extremely helpful to your group's continued toleration of its host, but none may be more important than a good soundtrack. A good musical score can elevate an okay scene to a good one, and a great scene to a legendary one. While there are plenty of places to find great music for your sessions, none may be better than the world of video games. There are several soundtracks over the years that are a perfect backdrop for any RPG table, and today we're going to give you 10 of them. This list is, of course, subjective, and we can't have played every game on Earth, so if your favorite game isn't on here, there's a good chance we haven't played it yet. And why not become the soundtrack to the D&D game that is our lives by subscribing and hitting the bell? May as well strum that like button on your way in too. Without further ado, I am the Penitent with College of Lore, and this is 10 video game soundtracks to add to your RPG playlist immediately. Number 10, Dragon Age. Let's get the obvious one out of the way first. Dragon Age is, as far as medieval RPGs go, something of a gold standard. It's about the closest you can get as far as feel and aesthetic goes to D&D in video game form, and its soundtrack has been marked as a fantastic backdrop for this sort of thing by many in the industry. From the grandeur and majesty evoked by the opening theme, to the epic backdrop conjured by the Grey Warden song, all the way to the amazing tavern feel presented by songs like Sarah Was Never that make you feel like you're sitting in an actual tavern in an actual fantasy world. It's a bit on the nose, sure, but sometimes that's just what the doctor ordered. Any game in the series will do, but I have to give the edge to Inquisition as far as the very peak of Dragon Age's music. Still, any of them will work for your ideal fantasy backdrop. Number 9, Life is Strange. Now, I know what you're thinking. A sapphic talking simulator set in the 2010s is pretty far removed from most D&D games, and while you may, unfortunately, be right, there's nothing stopping the music from slotting right into your D&D playlist. The calm, golden hour is a great backdrop for any rest or quiet conversation scene. The ambiance of songs like The Storm or Timeless, it's enough to put your players just the tiniest bit on edge when you need them to be, and the feeling of ending brought on by Max and Chloe is hard to capture in almost any other song. If instrumental is more your jam, the original game is hard to beat, but if you're more on the lyrical side, Daughters Before the Storm soundtrack may be more up your alley. Number 8, Fallout. Okay, so the 1950s hits that play over the game's radio may not be the best for most settings, but it's hard to beat the instrumental highlights of this post-apocalyptic series. The main musical theme of Fallout 4 takes players on an emotional journey, the ending of which still gives me personally chills. The New Vegas theme is perfect for establishing a dark and brooding setting, while Honor and Steel can represent any order of knights you can conceive of. The musical highlights of this series come from 3, New Vegas, and 4, but I'd be lying if I said 4 wasn't a touch above the other two. A perfect match for any game with a dark or war background, it's more than a worthy addition. Number 7, Pokemon. Sure, Pokemon is a typically lighthearted kids game, but that doesn't mean the music doesn't absolutely slap. Both games share things like dragons, fairies, and ghosts, so is it really that dissimilar anyway? The themes of Ghetsis, Giratina, and Cynthia are ideal for any truly epic boss battle, while Explorers of Sky's Temporal Spire generates a perfect backdrop for a foreboding mystery, and I defy you to tell me a piano rendition of the Pokemon Center theme couldn't be used for a truly amazing downtime scene. Asking us to pick our favorite may be a virtually impossible task, as all the mainline and expansion games, virtually without exception, have excellent music. Perhaps a controversial one, but Black and White would be a personal choice if you had a gun to my head. But, you know, don't put a gun to my head over a YouTube list video. Number 6, Halo. A personal favorite of the staff here at College of Lore, but it's hard to deny this sci-fi shooter has incredible music. Perfect for especially a war or grim setting, it's good enough to truly be evergreen. Halo 3's Never Forget is a great inspiration song for fights or speech scenes, while Halo 4's Green and Blue is perfect for both a sense of mourning and hope, but nothing, for us personally, will ever top the somber Ghosts and Glass from Halo Reach. You can't really go wrong with any of the Halo soundtracks, but I'm, unsurprisingly, exactly the type of person whose favorite Halo game would be Reach, and that extends to the soundtrack as well. Number 5, God of War. Fighting an actual god? Why not use music written for somebody fighting a god? God of War has had epic music in virtually all of their games, and while most of it is one note, and that note is the sound of someone being slammed into a piano repeatedly, sometimes you just want to fight something. Phoenix Rising from God of War 2 is a virtually perfect song for any boss fight, and A Giant's Prayer and Helheim from 2018's God of War can both be used for fights and an underlying sense of mystery. If I had to pick one, I would say 2018's God of War is the best choice, personally, but it's hard to go wrong with any of these deicidal hits. Number 4, Undertale. Oh, hey, look, a reason to put Sans in the thumbnail. So, no, not all the songs work. Long Elevator isn't exactly the banger you want for a final fight with a vampire lord, but the songs that do work, they work. If your group can get past the meme factor, Megalovania can be an incredible theme for the right boss. Failing that, Your Best Nightmare is a top-tier boss song, Fallen Down is perfect for the start of a new story arc, and Finale works excellently for, well, a finale. Deltarunes is also worth a listen, but the iconic hits on Undertale's soundtrack are worth adding. Just not one to add all the songs with, unless you're fine with Spooktune coming up while you're staring down a dragon. Number 3, Final Fantasy. With as many games as there are in this series, you'd expect there to be at least a few hits by now, and hey, most Final Fantasy games have a consistently fantastic, borderline iconic soundtrack. Aerith's theme, in addition to being hard to pronounce, is perfect if you want to punch anyone who's played 7 directly in the feelings. One Winged Angel from 7 is an extremely good boss theme, and 10's ending theme is one of the most bittersweet songs I've ever heard. You can't really go wrong with any Final Fantasy soundtrack. But I'm not gonna go against the grain and say anything but 7 is the absolute best. With so much content, you can find something for virtually every mood. Number 2, Silent Hill. Most of the series' music is written by industry legend Akira Yamaoka, and while the series is largely horror, a huge part of horror is tragedy, and unless you've decided to run Yo Gabba Gabba the tabletop game, I think you can find at least one song that fits part of your campaign. Promise's Reprise is, in my mind, superior to Promise in the first place, and both it and True are songs of Silent Hill 2's soundtrack that are perfect for any moment of intrigue or mystery, while Silent Hill 1's Not Tomorrow has the power to emotionally damage grown men irreparably. Silent Hill 2's soundtrack is king, but it's far from the only one with value on its tracklist. Give it a listen unless you're so camped that Baby Shark has a slot in your Spotify Wrapped. Number 1, Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. Okay, so there are probably better game scores out there, but this is my favorite game. It has been my favorite game for well over a decade. I love this game so much, but I work at a D&D channel instead of a video game channel, so this is really my only chance to talk about it. I could literally tell you where every song in this soundtrack fits, but my editors have told me that I am not allowed to do that, so fine. Javier's Cantina theme is the perfect backdrop for any tavern, Bastila's theme is one of the most hopeful songs I've ever heard, and the Leviathan is pure anticipation and bubbling horror just beneath the surface. There are some moments where the track goes a bit obviously Star Wars, but that's not immersion breaking in most campaigns, and it is, to me, to us, one of the best soundtracks you can find for a TTRPG game. So, that's our list. What did we miss? What games do you get your RPG music from? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, we do a lot of other content here at College of Lore, so go ahead and check out the top 10s, ranked RPG reviews, and actual plays, and many, many more. Thank you for watching this video from College of Lore. Remember to like this video, subscribe to join the party, and have a fantastic adventure.